I'm just going to go through my presentation. The Christophene local market is taken up by these subsectors. We have a data collection portal. Many of you may know it, NAMIS. It is the database that we have been developing and have developed over the last 3 to 4 years. You can go to the NAMDEFCO website and you would see most of the data on the various commodities that are traded in the, particularly the Macoya wholesale market. So this data is a 2014 data set that we pulled out for Christophene. What you see is across the market segments, your Christophene has been doing quite well. The largest take-up is the restaurants, and from our data it shows that the specific restaurant take-up is the Chinese. All right, so the Chinese restaurants take up a lot of the Christophene off of the local market. We also looked at the trends in terms of prices over the last few years, 2006 to 2015, and we noted that there was a relatively flat pricing up until 2019, and then it spiked. It came back down in around 2011, 2014, and has gradually been trending upwards. But it is we should know that in 2015, the average price for Christophene per kilogram is higher than the average price in 2006. What we deduce is the pricing is correlated to volumes. And in other words, the more Christophene you have on the local market, the lower the price. And as you know, as it began to flatten over the last 5 years, we see that was due to a flattening of the volume or the output from the fields. We also have some export data. For the last 3 years, it shows that Christophene export out of Trinidad has been depressed. And I suspect, not being a scientist, it is because of what we are discussing here. We have issues in the field. And so if we are to fix the disease issue, the question is, what do we do with the surplus? Do we put it back into the market to further depress the price, or do we find other streams for the Christophene? There was a lot of talk this morning about export, and I just want to spend hopefully 2 minutes to just give you a brief overview as to what are the requirements for exporting. And this is generally. And I want to start off with what the doc said. There is no Macoya market. There is no Davie market. There is no New York market. There is no EU market. There is one market. Therefore, the standard must be the same. Okay? So that what we are seeing for example, in the Macoya market, packaging is becoming very important. In fact, whenever commodities go to the packing house, we insist that it arrives to the packing house conforming to certain standards. So let me just briefly go over with you some typical standards we look at across the value chain. In the field, we have a program where we certify farmers in GAP. Everybody know that's the acronym for Good Agricultural Practices. We have a certification program. We have expanded that program. We are working with ICA to introduce what's called Global Gap, so that if you follow the guidelines based on your certification, you can export. It tells you what are the pests and other residues that are tolerable for the market. Other field type standards that are across the board, and right now I'm examining the EU market. There's a trade pact that we have signed on to, and I want you all to go and investigate. The EU market, by the way, is a very good market. Canada. A lot of people just look at United States, Miami, and the New York terminals, but there's a big market in the EU. But we have signed on to what's called the EPA, and you should look at some of the issues that we need to take into consideration. Coming off from the field, we have the post-harvest issues, delivering your stuff from your field to the packing house. In terms of Christophene, we would advise setting up a cold chain. So it comes off your field, it's cooled, getting it from the field to the packing house. It would be advisable that you have some sort of cool transportation or cold transportation to the packing house, or wherever you decide to process your Christophene for exports. There are the obvious phytosanitary issues that we would take care of at our packing house. And very important, and we are training all our GAP certified farmers, packaging from the packing house to your terminal. You are going to face a lot of competition. Even if you export from here to Barbados, which is again another good market, what is going to make your product stand out from, let's say, somebody who decides to bring stuff in from Dominican Republic? All right, so those are some of the issues you would want to consider if you're going to look at exporting. However, there are other opportunities along downstream of the value chain, such as processing. Our food technologists did a batch of pickled Christophene. She called it chow. It is for us to begin to think outside the box, looking at added value commodity items. If our largest local uptake is a Chinese restaurant, why give them the primary product? Why not chop it up and put it in a pack and call it a Christophene pack, for example? So there are ways of dealing with excess. We have to be innovative. We have to come up with the solutions based on the variables we run into in the market. The other part of my presentation has to do with formation of farmers groups. I'm fairly new to NAMDEFCO, and one of the first assumptions I had when I came to NAMDEFCO was that we had very strong and vibrant farmers groups. I was not happy to see that the reality is far from the truth. But that is important because, and I'm deliberately mentioning DR because we in Trinidad started a pepper project, exporting pepper. And we were looking at the DR value chain and realized that the primary reason for DR being successful is that they work through their farmers associations or groups or cooperatives. Another example I'll give you quickly. When I went to Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka is known for cinnamon and tea. Almost every tea farmer is connected to the tea cooperative. And the tea cooperative has one of two tea processing plants on the island, so that all farmers bring their tea to the cooperative. They get the mode price, they get a reliable price, they can plan their farm and do other issues. So that I won't go through to let you know that, for example, FAO has been doing a lot of work with regards to farmer associations. In the Caribbean, we have ICA, and I'm sure CABI has been doing some work with regards to farmer associations. You, I'm sure, may be part of groups, but you're not seeing the kind of impact that you would normally see outside of our territory. And I just want to highlight, take my last 3 minutes to highlight on some of the positives. All right, so we all know why we face challenges in forming farmers groups. What in Trinidad, the socioeconomic makeup of farmers is that they look for results now. Maybe it's a Trinidad thing, I don't know, but we look for results now. I would suggest that we enter into this as a business, and in any business it takes at least 3 years to see the benefits of forming a business. So one of the immediate benefits of coming together is creating scale and being able then to I don't want to say manipulate, which is too strong of a word, but to be able to have some sort of control over your price. Okay, so in order to be able to have a successful farmers group, you must be able to identify the benefits for the membership. You have to sit down as a group and determine, what do I want this group to do? What do I want to get out of my farmers group? Choose leaders who can assist in meeting the vision of the group. Set clear objectives. Be sure you know what the purpose of the group is, and moving forward, then you would be able to, for example, facilitate extension services. You can get and look at premiums on inputs into your production, such as fertilizer, etc. And as I said before, have a greater say in the pricing. What we have discovered in NAMDEFCO is what many call the middleman. I call them entrepreneurs. In fact, that's the French word for the middleman in any case. They benefit off of divide and rule. So they divide the farmers and they are able to capture a better price and come down here and sell at a higher price. However, just think of a situation where if all of you got together and you were able to tell that middleman, this is the price, and if you don't want it, we will sell it. Okay? Taking into consideration all the market segments that you have on the local market alone, I think it's worth the effort, the energy, and the resilience to take 3 years and develop a proper Christophene farmers network in Trinidad, and then look at forward thinking, look at going into the regional markets and the international markets. I think we have an excellent crop. Once these guys can help us with the disease issues, I think we should sit down and develop our business model, our business plan, and our strategies going forward into the international market. So with that, and because time is short, thank you very much.